So then I started my spiritual journey, my spiritual work, and obviously got kicked off when I met my twin counterpart, as we all know, and you know, quite rapidly you kind of know where you've been healing the most in all the you've been healing generally, but when you meet your twin counterpart, I mean, it takes a different dimension and different level, as we all know, and you define the theme that you have chosen to focus on and to work on. So on any spiritual journey and spiritual work, you will look at all the aspects of everything in your life, but you will notice a theme that is more dominant and is quite obvious usually. And but I still didn't know why I chose this theme, in a way that it was pretty clear with my counterpart that we chose the third party energy person. So that was our main theme. Plus, within that, with the role of the feminine, the masculine within a couple as a parent. So the dynamic and the in that setting. So, and everybody has a slightly different setting with the masculine and the feminine, but ours was that, and the main theme of third party energy person. So we have a lot of karmic around us. He has a lot of karmic around him. I had a lot of karmic around me, and it was just crazy, and it was exhausting. It was really, really exhausting. And I kept saying to myself, why did I choose this theme? Why didn't I choose? And I know all the main themes are difficult and all challenging, because it is designed for us to be difficult, and that's why we chose them, because we want to heal that aspect specifically. And as I don't know if I mentioned it, but when you have when you put your finger on the dominant theme, you realize that you have to look at all the aspects, but like, I mean, inside out, you eat karmic, you sleep karmic, you bathe karmic, you shower karmic, you dream karmic. Like, I mean, it's constantly in your energy field with everything. It's all the time. You work with 2, 3, 4, 5 karmic at the same time. It's just crazy. So you just have, there is nothing that can stay under the radar. Everything needs to be pulled out and looked at and everything. So it is very exhausting in a way. And I kept asking myself, why did I choose this theme? Why didn't you choose something else? I kept saying that to myself. And obviously I was just like, okay, just accept is your plan. Just accept that's the theme that you chose, and that's it. I'm like, okay, you know. So that was my my acceptance and my feeling until a comic walked into my life last year, and it was weird because he was different than other comics in a way. Like, I didn't have a pre-established relationship. He wasn't a colleague of mine or a friend. I had no connection to him whatsoever. He just showed up in my energy field and in my environment, in my work environment, and there was something I didn't know what it was first, but then I kind of put it on the side, and then I was prompted to go and see it in a dream. So I went to see what the connection was, and I realized it was a comic, and there was a facet of a pattern that I needed to undo. So I worked on that, and barely interacted with him. So it was nothing in the 3D. It was all on the energetic level, and then the energetic connection kept growing, and I thought, this is strange because I'm not interacting with him, but the energetic connection is so strong. It's becoming something that I wasn't familiar with. It was a physical connection, and I was like, I really don't understand this. You know, it was so different, because normally I don't have a physical connection with someone if I don't have an emotional connection, and clearly this was the reverse. I didn't have an emotional connection because I wasn't interacting. I didn't know who it was really, you know, just, you know, general stuff from somebody that is working around you, but that's it. But the physical connection kept growing and growing, and I was like, I don't know. So I was prompted again to go and see another karma, and then I understood. So all the karmas together I really understood what it was, what was the pattern that was presented to me to break free from, and how toxic and how, you know, destructive can be if we play out again this pattern in karma. So it was my job to really undo it, to work through it, and I was so diligent. I was like a soldier, you know. I was like, I'm gonna do this, but it was really difficult. It was really sticky. I was like, oh my god, because the energies, his energy would just come out of nowhere sometimes, and I thought when I was over it, and then boom, it would come and it would hit me, and I was like, okay, I need to work through this again and again and again, and then eventually I did by the end of before the end of the last year. So great. I was like, okay. And so on the back of that specific karma and karmic, I was prompted to go and see why I was given a different name than anybody else, all the grandchildren in my family. So I went to see, and the download that I got was, so my name means love. And I was given that name for a specific reason. So for when I would know the truth about my name, that I will remember it was designed and planned and agreed from a place of love, from a place of unconditional love. So my biological dad is not actually my dad. And so my mom had an affair while she was with who I thought was my dad. And it's not just with anyone. She had an affair with my granddad, who is the dad of my dad, the one that I thought was my biological dad. So I know there might be some people who get triggered, and I get it, and you can just switch off and it's okay. But so that was the big secret that nobody knew, and it was revealed from my name. And so obviously it was a shock to me, but it also made sense about everything, why I chose the thing that I chose, why, because I was the result, I was the embodiment, I was the very thing that happens when karmas are not resolved, or past energy wound that is not resolved, and misaligned, mischanneled, miscarried, when we don't carry the right alignment of sexual energy and they're not healed, then you can have children out of, relationship and things like that. But especially in this case, that would be considered wrong and judged upon and shameful by our society, anyone that is not doing the work, and by the general collective anyway, for the moment. So it all made sense, as you can work out, that I was the very embodiment of the difference that wasn't born the norm or the proper or the conventional way, but which also what I took from this and from this understanding about this information that was revealed to me is this, that if I hadn't done all the healing and all the tools, if I didn't have all the tools that I have now, I would have rejected them, which is meaning I would have rejected again myself, right? But this was the opportunity for me to realize that this is the very thing, the worst thing that you could know about yourself, the darkest thing that you would maybe judge about yourself or think about yourself, being this embodiment of the shame of two people that were in that belief, so they kind of pass it on to you, which you have carried until now, but now is the opportunity to either embrace it or to keep going down the path of your ancestors, basically. So from this point on, if I can embrace what it could be the worst, the darker side of myself, well, there is no really much else that can affect me. There is no other side of me that I can reject, you know. And that is the gift. That is the how can I say? It's just, that is the next plateau. That is the thing that I can, you know, have in me, but I can hold in my hand, and I feel it, I have it, you know. And that is something I didn't have before. But I don't think you can have it unless you go through that. Because you think you have embraced all your shadows. You think you have seen the worst of yourself, in a way, from the human point of view. But until you get to that point, embracing your worst fear or your worst, the worst possible thing that could be about you, and is presented to you, and well, if you can embrace that, you're all right. You can't, you know, it does feel like you're almost invisible. It's not like you're not going to go through, I'm sure I'm going to go through healing and processes, and of course I've got things to learn, but I know for a fact, from this place, from this moment on, my healing journey is going to be very different. The way I'm going to feel, the way I'm going to connect to the healings, the way I'm going to just look at the world, interact with the external world, and it's just going to be different. It is different. It feels different. It is different. It's in my hand, you know. I can hold it. It's there, you know. So it was just to remind everyone, and through my name, I was reminded, is that all the contracts, all the karma, everyone that seems even your worst enemy in the 3D world, in the human world, from the human point of view, you might feel that they've done the worst to you, that in this life or past life or anything in between, it's all designed from a place of unconditional love, from an amazing place of love. And without that, you can't design those plans, those soul journeys, you know. So it was for me to remember that through my name, I will always remember this, and I will connect to that memory. It took me a while. I did, but it is what we need to keep in mind through this journey. It is difficult. It is sometimes so challenging, but there is so much love behind all of it. So I hope, so if somebody can get something out of it, if it helps you a little bit in your journey, then, you know, I feel very grateful for that. So yeah, see you next time.